Now what you see here is called a Saki disc. It was invented by a guy named Saki, of course. But this is used to measure turbidity of the water, the amount of number of particles. And what you do is you just cause this to go down into the water, and you do that until you can no longer see the disc. And at that depth, you record that depth, and you look at a table, and you can determine what the particulate matter is, the turbidity. And of course that's going to affect the reflectivity of the ocean. So we're going to actually do this. I'll put it over the side and you can see what happens. Okay, Saki disc is going over the side. Sinking, and just about there. That's about it right there. So let's take a look and see how deep that went. Okay, that was about 2 meters. And at that depth, we just lost it. Now I just thought of something. I'm going to color that Saki disc and see if we can see when the colors extinguish. Hey, what this is a water sampler, and I'll show you how that works. We have a bunch of trip lines here. Very ingenious device. Okay. You gotta be careful with this thing. It's major stuff. And you got these two tennis ball looking things, wiffle balls, and they connect like this, and we find the trip rod mechanism right here. Put that there, and this goes over the side, and then what happens when we're at the depth we want, pull that, and we've got a water sample, and it comes out this little spigot. So that's what we're going to be using in a few minutes, and to collect some water sample. We don't want it to surface, we want it down a little bit, consistent with what we did with the experiment with the Saki disc and the colors. Okay, what we're going to do now is get that over the side without tripping it, hopefully. Fills with water, it sinks, and we'll go down about 2 meters. That's about it right there. No trip. And we got a good sample. And let's see. Excellent. And there's water in there. And we'll get the sample out and we'll analyze it with the spectrometer. Voila! Water sample from 2 meters. Okay, this time I'm going to take the water sample, fill with cravette very carefully. There we go. And we have our sample. Look, there's a little friend in there. Let's do it again. Okay. We have our sample, and we'll put it aside. Okay, the next thing we need to control, so we're going to fill this with distilled water from our battery's supply of water. Put a little more in there. And this is distilled water. That'll be our control. Put it aside. Okay, we're now going to take a look at the spectrum. We'll just collect light without anything between the spectra source and the detector, and it's fairly, as you can see, it's flat lined throughout the entire spectrum. Next, we're going to use the distilled water and see what happens there. Here's the distilled water curve, flat lines across the entire spectrum. And the next thing we're going to do is take a look at the ocean water down to, remember we collected this almost 2 meters deep, about 6 feet, 5-6 feet. And let's see what that looks like. Clear the frame. Boom, absorption. None. All of the wavelengths make it to at least that depth. So you should be able to see color at that depth. So now you can make some interesting conclusions, I bet.